Well, welcome back, and we're still remaining with a big story for today. We're talking about subnational borrowings, and what we mean by subnational, we're talking about state borrowings and increasing the national debt, and not just only that, but the recent call for accountability and also financial reforms as it concerns the unnecessary spending spree of most of the governors. And not just that, but also the federal government looking at financial reforms that will help strengthen our economy, so at least these governors will not give reasons for gold borrowing. But also we're looking critically at that, especially later by Serap to the president of the World Bank, insisting on calling on him not to borrow any other states any money, but also putting a clause to it and telling them at least they should monitor the monies already being spent and ask these governors what they've done with the ones they borrowed before they think of giving them another. But you also remember that we're in the transition period, or we were in the transition period, so asking former governors to come give accounts might also be more of a problem, knowing that some states were formerly being run by a certain party, but now another seems to have taken over. But how really fixable is all of that? But anyway, helping us to fix the matter is no other person but Mr. Gideon Oguns, an economist and also a social critic, helping out with the discussion. But you do know how we love it. Let's go get a message from our proud sponsors. We're talking about Beneta Gas, located right here in Warri, Ughelli, Warrior, and environs. And when we come back, more discussion all centered on the big story for today.
Oh, yeah, follow the road, auto better quality. If you dey talk gas matter, oh, yeah, follow Beneta. Gas with the better quality, Beneta gas. Gas where they full rich man to Beneta gas. Delivery brother na sharpal. Beneta gas. Beneta gas, no mago mago. Beneta gas. Different type of gas cylinder. I mean, I got gas we go last you well out. Beneta gas. Matter Beneta now do Beneta gas service in a them they run Beneta gas make you carry go
for gas matter and home delivery. Make you wire Beneta gas plant for 080-6745-7890 and 080-5904-7722. Beneta gas plant, the Etekwele of gas matters.
Well, those are our proud sponsors, and we're talking about Beneta Gas. But remember, the big story is big enough to accommodate all your businesses. Come over and let's see how we can put you on the very big one, and that's this platform. But anyway, let's quickly return back to our discourse today. In case you're joining us in our first half of our discussion, we critically look at that very letter written to the president of the World Bank, Mr. Ajay Banga, by Serap, insisting that more needs to be done as amounts to money is being spent. And not only that, but would it be a right call? It's still a question many experts are looking at. But anyway, let's quickly look at it. We talked greatly about the need for accountability, and also Serap insisting that the World Bank should stop borrowing state governors' money because they feel they misspent it, and that's the reason they are giving. But you do know how we always love to do things on the big story. We went further to ask, is it a right thing? Because we went further to investigate how much the World Bank itself has given to states in the last couple of months. And presently, the World Bank has about $8.5 billion worth of portfolio spread across the country. And the bank has also approved several loans and other funding facilities to the country. We're talking about 36 states, including a recent one that we caught up with, and it's about a $750 million credit line, and meant to states to carry out reforms and attract investment and create jobs. That's what we learned. But funny enough, again, we learned that the World Bank, in the first half of this year's report, it said the 36 states of Nigeria will go in difficulty in 2024 on account of lack of funds. So my question is, if Serap is calling for a halt in funds being given to states, knowing that these states are going through a difficult time raising these funds, will it not totally affect Nigerians, that's the citizens of the state, rather than the governors you are telling them not to give? and affect the economy of the states?
The fact is, the economy is what is going to face the brunt, because we have two elephant fight.
Yes.
The grass will suffer.
Okay.
The grass here is the economy. However, again, like I've been saying, this is not a straight jacket thing. There are a lot of interwoven indices.
Okay.
The first issue is, why not advise Seraph and those who are responsible to giving
Or rather, the World Bank, you mean?
the approval for loans to be granted to states, because no state did directly with them.
Okay.
They passed through
Intermediaries.
the federal government.
Yeah.
So maybe the federal government should change the template. If you are going to get a loan of $1 billion, well, let's do counterpart funding.
Okay.
So in which case, you bring 40% of the money you are looking for.
The state should
Source
be
it yourself.
Okay.
Then we'll be investing the remaining 60% in phases. So let's use a building just for ease of example.
Illustration. Yeah.
If you procure the land, we will help you do it to DPC. Then when you raise it to roof, we'll help you to roof it.
Okay.
Then when it comes to the internal work, if you're able to do the water, we will do the electrical. That way, the bulk of the money will not be pumped down straight
Into the government.
into their hands. I think if they do something like that, it will also be easier for monitors to be able to monitor, to see if the counterpart performed, like UBEC or something. They use that approach,
Yes.
where the states bring in a particular fund
Before you can assess.
their money. Then when they even give it to you, they ensure that. So on this issue of borrowing, the federal government could rejig the way and manner the approvals are given. Now, on who suffers? The people are the ones that will suffer. Why? This money comes in the names of projects. You just reference a particular project
Yeah, the
that is
$750 million.
expected to grow
Economy
in
and
a particular direction
Yeah.
to create job. Meaning that jobs are not in existence because certain infrastructures
Are not
are not existing. Therefore, this infrastructure need to be placed, then it will attract investors and they will come. So if the loans don't come, and so those infrastructures are not in place, no investor will come. And that means no job will be created. But is that a flat line? No. I which the monthly allocations we get
Yeah.
from May to date, I'm talking to all the new governors now, from May to date, allocation have increased.
Of course.
But what
Because of the
increased
subsidy removal.
development,
Yeah.
increased development
Can match.
have we seen? So, the people will keep suffering until, like I said before, the institutions are empowered to either checkmate these SSs or the citizenry are knowledgeable enough to hold them to account. Until these two can bring accountability, I think is a dream.
Well, if without mixing words, we've had almost all governors, former governors, that left office that are either facing one criminal charge or the other, all on misplacement or mismanagement
Let's not
of public.
say governors,
Yeah.
almost all public office
okay.
holders.
We rather center this on the governors because of what Serap is
Okay.
saying, and all because of mismanagement of public
course.
funds. But here we are, 24 years down the road of democratic
Democracy.
return after 1999, and the only ones we've had that were convicted were later released on account of good
Who they are,
behavior.
or who they are.
Or who? Okay, well, anyway, not
Who they
please,
are.
you will not implicate me, but
Who they
rather according to good behavior. That's why they were released. But it beats me to wonder, how can you ever hold these people accountable? Because you're talking about, okay, yes, accountability as a watchword, yes, okay, counterpart funding, yes, that might be a way out. But if you do not deal with the criminals, the next one that will come in will likely do the same.
Okay. There is no next one that have come. Maybe that's why it's shocking you. We don't have a new governor. What we usually have are people who are coming to take over. They are appointed, they are anointed.
By the predecessor.
When they are doing the appointment or selection or anointing, it is with a goal. So these persons are actually coming in, and if you listen to their campaign, they have never hidden it. They will tell you they will continue on the good work of the people they are coming to replace. And is that not what they tell us? So what is the good work those people have been doing? Be free.
Okay, anyway, before you piff me into it, let's look at it. And all of this back and forth, let's be frank, all of this back and forth is because of the issue of financial crisis in the country.
Of course.
Yes, that's why we're having Sarah Price. Yes, the World Bank trying to help us out. All of this is just because of the economy not in strong footing. And talking about it, I want us to look at some statements, recent statement accredited to the Central Bank Governor, Olayemi Cardoso. And here at the 58th annual Bankers Dinner of the Chartered Institute of Bankers of Nigeria in Lagos just during the weekend, made a whole lot of statements that have also seemed to be in the front burner of many discourse, especially as it concerns the economy. And one of the major ones he talked about, he said he will unveil the bank's monetary policy trust in economic outlooks for 2024, which is highly anticipated. I know you even called me within the weekend. You said it's something you'll be loving to hear, to see the direction that it will take. But he has also not hid his desire to strengthen our economy to grow to 1 trillion in gross domestic product. And one of the ways he said he would do that, he wants to recapitalize the banking sector. The last time we had any recapitalization of banks was in 2004.
2005.
Yes, 2004, 2005. When we had the banks recapitalization from 2 billion to 25 billion. Now he's saying he wants to recapitalize it. And we've had mega banks saying, well, they can hit their chest to say they have about 10 trillion. But my question is, what will such recapitalization mean for the economy at this time? Would it help strengthen the economy as he claims $1 trillion?
The first answer is if properly done, will make the economy better. But if done like other policies that we've seen
in recent times,
it will make us go cap begging. Because jobs will be lost. Because banks that cannot find a way to raise that capital within the space of time that will be given, will either be sold
or bought
over, merged. The language is they are going to reduce. And for those who intend to float a bank, the capital requirement will be so high that getting it at the speed they will want to will also be difficult. All I'm trying to say, unemployment will be hit hard if wrongly done.
If wrongly done.
Yep.
Okay.
So I think why it is a very good policy, but he needs to sit down. And that's why I told you I really desire to see the framework he's trying to plan. Okay. Because if all the indices that should be captured are actually calculated, put in, the regressions are run, the forecasts are properly made, it will be a very good one. But if all the exogenous are not taken care of,
but do you because there's this recent problem, and it started like a month ago, when we have scarcity of naira. Now, do you see this recapitalization as really dealing with the basic economic things.
Okay.
Indices that
let's try to explain something.
Yeah, let's try to understand that.
To get our
to see what we will gain as ordinary Nigerians.
Now, the point of capitalization is to strengthen the carrying capacity
of the
banks. It may not directly be based on their services they render. So if we are going to be looking at the availability of the Naira, of FS, those are the services banks render. But for them to qualify to run these services, we're talking of the capitalization. So it's the route on which. So if we put our money, our investment, foreigners come to put in their money, they are sure that even if
anything goes wrong,
the bank goes down, they have assets sufficient to be able to reverse or cause a rejig. So there are two separate things. Okay. But then, how does it help the economy? If the banks are strong, they can spread more.
Okay.
They can employ more.
Okay.
They can render more services. For example, doing business in Nigeria today is slightly difficult because most commercial banks can't afford to give a fresh starter, a neophyte, a loan to do a business. If you cast your mind back to 2004, or 2000, let's say 2000 to 2005, within that 5 years, before the recapitalization, there were investment houses, there were finance houses, there were every shape of financial business in place until that came, and when the capitalization was moved, most of the finance houses went down. Most of the investment houses went because they couldn't cope with what it takes to obtain a license. Okay. It is this capital base that will determine the license that you'll be given, whether you are going to be a microfinance bank, whether you are going to be a commercial bank, and so on and so forth. Okay. So it is important that they get it right so that the economy expands as against contracting. Because if
we've been witnessing
if it contracts again, and we're already in 2 contractions, we are going to likely to go into regression, to recession.
Okay, now let's still research on it because I'm still interested, and I still continue with that 58th annual bankers dinner by Chartered Institute of Bankers of Nigeria that was held in Lagos, and look at some of other disclosure coming from Cardoso himself. He talked about paying forex for about almost 31 banks, backlog of forex that were owed these banks, that he has paid them, and it will mean a lot for the economy in paying them. Anyway, I'm really curious to know what that means, and he even made promise of even paying more to deal with the backlog of forex being owed. I know we saw some slightly gain. On Friday, when I calculated, the Naira gained about 16% more, and it traded about, in the black market, it traded with about 1,855 Naira to $1, which many will say, okay, could be a direct result from that paying of backlogs of forex. Now, if we continue on this level, because he said he's going to be sustaining it in the nearest future, what does it mean for the economy? And do you feel it will better strengthen the banking sector that many are already calling or asking critical questions about their operations?
Yeah, it's going to be a very helpful move because primarily investors, particularly foreign investors' confidence
will be strengthened.
Will be very strengthened, knowing that their investments, particularly their capital, is recoupable. Because once you cannot be too certain that in the aftermath of any occurrence,
you get your money
you will be able to get your money back, you are skeptical. So it will be good that the banks are solid, such that anyone walking into them and transacting with them will be having that confidence. Now on the forex,
backlog
is a good thing, and like you rightly referenced, the markets are already responding to it.
Okay.
Because it's breaking the monopoly of the black market.
Okay. Okay.
Right now, certain banks now have forex to exchange.
Okay.
So, permit me to speak the public balance.
Yeah.
The Aboki man is not only the way to get dollar now.
Go to the bank.
So you can get to a bank. It may not be every bank yet. You can get to the bank and get dollar. So if Aboki man tells you mine is 1,300, you have other places to go, and you can get it for 1,100. Then even at the official window, he's also doing well.
Yeah.
You are slipped
You gain about 100 there to the dollar.
Good, about 740 or thereabouts. So he's doing well. But the maintenance and sustainability. To maintain it and sustain it. When he says he will continue, my question to him is, how?
Where are we going to get them from?
How?
Get the dollars.
That's the issue. How?
Got it. But I get to make us go on a break now. That's what we will do. And when we come back, we'll continue our discussion all on the big story for today. Let's go on a break.